Kami desu.
And I'm Rubicon, of course.
Rubicon desu. Welcome back to SLIMEWAVE, everybody. It's so good to see you. It's been a little while, parts, since we've had our last broadcastles.
That is true.
I checked parts the watch, and according to the thingamabingle, it's been 4 months, Mr. Rubicon.
Oh dear.
We haven't broadcasted parts since March. But then again, back in March, the Nine Heavens exploded, so, you know, it's kind of like a deserved break if you suffer a major terrorist things attack.
That's true.
We're back in town, and unfortunately, Miss Rory and Mr. Valentine, they said that they had things to do parts lately, so, they're not going to be on it for a little bit. I know Miss Rory said she needed to take a break. Something about the Great Rejoining or something like that. I wasn't paying too much attention parts. I think Mr. Valentine is going through seasonal depression because I haven't seen him parts in a little while either.
That's fair.
Well, we have some exciting announcements first to start things parts off. I have a couple of major interviews set up with 2 very, very lovely slimes. One of which I think parts that the audience was back home, which, hi Sliming, so good to see you. I think you'd like. We have an interview lined up with Miss Juno pretty soon. We just have to decide on a date parts to do it, and then we can knock it out, and it's going to be very exciting. I want a day parts where we can get a bunch of different slimes here in the studio, because there's not much of a slime wave unless there's only 2 of us. But it's kind of like you guys start out small in order to get back to being big again, you know?
I'll grow from somewhere.
You have to start small in order to get back to being big. Whoa. I talked parts to Mr. Aurora about it, and Miss Aurora is going to keep an eyeball out for any goose. Because our goal is to interview all the slimes across the metas first, so we can probably just start with ourselves. Since it's been a little while, it's kind of like we're starting all over from square one. So we should talk about what we've been up to the last 4 months. First off, major points of news for you watchers on, what's it called? Metasgram? Metasgram. Metasgram, for those of you perhaps watching for your first slime. This is SLIMEWAVE. We do slime-based content around parts here where we talk about slimes and the slime-based entertainment, and generally just kind of like, as someone, I think Miss Blake Parts told me, it was like a half hour of just 2 slimes yapping back and forth against each other, and I think they said that they liked that and they missed it, so we're back in town. The Nine Heavens exploded a while ago, and it was pretty tragic parts. Because I was there parts when it happened, and when they went into the building parts was on fire, and it was really scary. And then they pulled out Miss Cass, and Miss Cass was just like torso parts and head parts.
Visceral.
She was smoldering parts, and that's because really bad people parts called like, oh, I don't know if I should say parts, but they did some really bad things to them. And I don't like them, but then I was like, well, we should go get them. And they're like, no, they've already disassembled parts. What do you mean they've already disassembled? Oh, well, they were purpose-made to kill parts, Miss Cassandra. And now that they've killed parts, Miss Cassandra, the mission's completed. It's like, oh, man, you're not even going to give parts us the satisfactions of strangling the life out of you.
Sometimes you never win.
Bleh. Stupid. But yes, unfortunately, Miss Cassandra parts has exploded, and with that, the Nine Heavens has also exploded parts. But that's okay, because it's under the new management of a very big guy. He has big arms, and I don't remember his name. I think it might be like Randolph or something.
I didn't know that detail.
He's big, and he has those big, beefy red arms. And he said that he's going to turn it into like a community park.
Well, there's something nice of him.
He said
I will be missing that little destination. However, if there's anything you do still want from the nightclub, you could probably get it at the Ripple ship.
Well, I mean, I'll probably rocking parts the Nines Heavens logo just kind of like in memory. And if those of you who visit Solar Zephyras where we recording these slime waves, there's a really nice poignant memorial parts over there that we're not allowed to record on because it would be considered parts insensitives.
That and loud because the gym's right above it.
Wow. Miss Juno's up at the gym. It's very exciting. Oh yeah, right. I also have another guest. Mr. Rubicon, we need to find more places to record Slime Wave besides Solar Zephyra. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really nice that there's like a crowd of people parts that are around, but there's some really good slimes that I've met out since the Metaspheres, and I'd love to interview parts all of them.
Ever considered mid-Zephyra or middle
But
Zephyra?
but not everyone parts is in Zephyra. Some people are like in places that I've never heard of, like Hotanar and Fumo, I think it's called.
Well, I'd be in the same boat as you because I've never heard of those.
But I met them because I went out to a club parts recently, and I've been working really hard to try to build slime connections because slimes are stronger together. And I met a whole bunch of really nice slimes, and it'd be really cool to do some interviews for them for Slime Waves. Like I said, it's really hard because not every slime has access to Lure Zephyr because not every slime can go out of their home plane. What else has happened in the past 4 months, Mr. Ribblescons? The Nine Heavens exploded. They added that new clothing shop down on the main dragway. What else was major in those Metaverse in the last 4 months or so? Well, there's been a couple new places that have opened up. I hear the Stormbringer parts have made a place down in the waterfronts.
Can't say I've heard anything good come of that or anything.
So from my understanding parts, I saw a flyer that was on the street parts, and it said that the Stormbringers made this place called Sinkerswim.
Oh, yes, that little joint.
But they said you have to fill out paperwork parts in order to come join and be a part of the gang. And I was like, but I'm already part of a gang parts. I'm part of Slime Gang.
I wouldn't be giving up my position anytime soon.
You're a valued coastline here on Slime Wave. We're Slime Gang, and Slime Gang sticks together no matter what. Oh, right. Big announcement parts. We have a questions board parts for viewers to submit their questionnaires, because I thought it would be a really cool thing for people to be able to submit questions and we can answer them live here on the airwaves. I haven't actually checked the box parts today just to see if we have any mail. I should check parts it right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. Give me just a second. I gotta pull it up here on my. You know they taught me how to use a Sellings phone. You ever had a Sellings phone, Mr. Rubicon?
Well, of course I have. Is this a recent advent for you?
A what?
Is this a recent advent for you?
Oh no, I just forgot I had it.
Oh, then.
Yeah. Okay. This message comes to us from. Ooh, that's a toughie to pronounce. SLIMEWAVE. They write, Dear Slime Wave crew, which one of you would win in a fight?
I'm betting on myself.
I'm also betting on Mr. Rubicon's parts, because, you know, Mr. Rubicon's is big and strong. He's a big, strong, toughy guy. It's this big metal shell parts, right? I can get really hot parts, and Miss Ruri could probably get you really drunk parts.
And also the little revolver I keep myself.
You're way more fitted for combat if we're talking all slimes. However, I would probably say that Miss Juno or Miss Boots are tied for the toughest slimes in the metaverse right now.
I guess I'll have to contest that.
You remember Boots? I remember Boots. Boots is a small, they're a small little pink slime. We interviewed parts of them last episode, which was 4-month parts ago. So if you don't know anything about that, why don't you check back? We have an archive parts of SlimeWave episodes. You can see them on the Slime Archive. We have a big archive right there on the MetaTube. It has all the SlimeWave episodes you could ever want to sink your gooey teeth into. How do you think would win a fight between Boot Parts and Miss Juno Parts?
I might say that Juno might take the cake.
Ooh.
Professionally trained.
Mm-hmm. But Boots fights like big monster parts and stuff. Miss Juno is like a show fighter.
That's fair.
Miss Juno Parts is really strong because she can shape her slime into like muscles and stuff. But like Boots is strong because I think they've had a lot of time fighting what's it called? Fighting monsters, like big monsters. I know that they go out parts to the iron grips. Also, we have questions coming in from the coastlines back home. Did you know that we broadcast parts this live to the metagrams?
I mean, I was aware of the posts,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Well, we post it afterwards once it's edited down, but this is actually being broadcasting parts live. Miss Aurora helped me set up a big camera. We have a couple slimes back at home saying that it's an intention that matters, not necessarily parts, the actual actings. Out of all the slimes in the metaverse, who do you think would be the quickest to resort to violence parts? We've met a lot of slime parts these days. I have to say, most slimes we've come across are pretty chill parts compared to most people.
May I speak a bit from personal experience?
Ooh, we love talking parts. Talk to me. I hit a fourth-dimensional bottle parts.
I typically have to unfortunately resort to violence due to the nature of the people I end up conversing with. Not that I break up every corporate meeting with a fist fight. I simply mean a lot of people aren't willing to hear you out or stop and talk. I don't always break it out. If needed, which 9 times out of 10, it unfortunately is. I'm no stranger to dishing it out. Now, would I say I resort to violence immediately? No, it's usually retaliation. But unfortunately, it's the thing that gets resorted to due to its retaliatory nature.
So, like, in your line of work parts, do you have to crack a few skulls in order to get your business deals out the way? Or is it sort of like a thing you just do in stuffy boardrooms and you talk them to death?
No, I'm typically talking people to death most times. However, as a part of researching and developing, you do in fact need to research. And sometimes the things you're looking into want to fight you really bad, such as mutants. Specifically the ones of Bayo 9.
Ooh, yeah, no, listen. Mutant parts are a little scary. I haven't really been down to the sewers in a while. You know, ever since I got smart parts, I started learning to avoid the sewers because there's lots of scary things down there.
I'd still probably know it like the back of my hand.
That's right. You were made down in the sewer parts, right? That's where you came from?
Correct.
Look at you. You're a real raggings to richings story. You're like the story of a man who started with nothing parts and now you've got all this stuff.
In the flesh.
You know, it's really cool. Do you think slimes are a product of their environment in terms of like their career opportunities, or do you think it's more just like a individual gumption kind of thing?
Career opportunities, I'd say that's an individual gumption thing, but slimes are definitely, from my research findings, products of their environment, as they are typically comprised of half the environment.
We have a slime back home that says that they're gonna go fishing. You ever go fishing, Mr. Rubicon? Like not like with like a fishing,
Once or twice.
not like with like a fishing rods, but like with your body.
Oh, you're talking about that old style of fishing where you grab them out of the water. Well, considering I'm most adept in the water, yes, I have a few times. Though, the most times I did it, I'd have to say it was whilst in the sewers.
Oh, somebody's having a chit-chats over there. You know, there are some species of slimes that can fish with their bodies. Like, I used to be a river slime back whenever I was a young one. And what you do is you spread your body really thin so that you can still get some water that goes through you without washing you away. And you sort of just stick in the water like you're a big net, and then the big fish gets stuck in you.
That's fair.
There's a lot of really cool predatory.
And back when I was in the sewers, it was mostly opportunistic strikes. Calculate the risks, all of that. Only delve in when you know you're going to win. Because if I got into a fight I couldn't fight my way out of, that would have most likely been it for me back then.
Oh gosh, what else has happened recently in this metaverse as well? You know, they were having some kind of big metaversal fishing contest not too long ago. You remember that?
Oh, I think I recall.
There was a big postings upon it in the Meadowsgrams. They were talking about, you have to capture the biggest fish imaginable. And it's like, well, here's the thing. Everyone from the metaverse parts has different capabilities and power parts. So how do you even regulate something like that unless you sort of like stifle everyone? Because if you go with just you have to use a fishing rod, then that means there's no restriction parts on people who could use magic parts. But like if you say you don't have to use the fishing rods, then you could use your whole body like a slime can. I have big respect parts for people who can like actually regulate all the crazy stuff that happen parts in the metaverse.
Unsung heroes sometimes.
Well, really, I mean, like, there's been people like splat. What's going on parts over there? Oh yeah, we should mention we're recording live on the street parts. So you know, if you hear some noises in the background parts, then you know maybe there might be what. Mr. Ramakan, did you fall?
Leaning over.
Getting comfortable parts on the bench and not the bench crumbling underneath you.
Yes, I wouldn't want to break public property.
You think that's going to decrease parts value of this bench? This bench is probably worth maybe 5 credit parts in total.
I mean, it's objectively going to decrease in value if it's broken.
I don't know about that.
But it's going to inconvenience anyone who wants to sit down on the bench, aside from us.
But slimes can decrease in value by getting broken, but that just makes more of us, which technically results in a net increase in power.
Some, I suppose. We not learned that a lot of us are very diverse and act differently or work differently. I thought I was living proof of that.
You know, we have a lot of interesting things coming our direction. I managed to score an interview parts with a really nice chocolate slime not too long ago. I don't remember her name parts, but I do have her number parts. I think she just calls herself Ms. But she's a really pretty. She's a professional dominatrix parts.
Oh, good lord.
It was really, not that I was like looking parts for that kind of thing, but like when I was stumbling out there, I was like, hi, Cody. When we were stumbling out and about, I came across them and they were in the middle of doing their things. And it's like, how do you know, people say slimes are weak.
How on earth would you stumble into the middle of...
Okay, listen,
like
hear me out on this, Rubicon. Hear me out on this. I was walking down, and then I thought about the funny rock inside my stomach, and I pulled it in on myself, and I wound up somewhere else, and there were a bunch of people doing things that would make God cry.
Okay.
And then I found them in the corner.
That makes a lot more sense. You worded it as if they were doing it in the middle of the street, which would have been concerning.
No, I wasn't. What the hell? Oh, goodness. Fun gang, there's like a bunch of really strong metal parts people out there. What are they doing out there? Hold on. Let me grab the camera parts and adjust it so that we can take a look-see about what's going on here. This is usually far from our motif, but ooh, what's going on out there? Oh, you know, they've already run off, I guess. Never mind.
I don't know.
Mr. Ravicons, why do you think people cause a fuss in the street?
Let's come again.
Why do you think people cause parts of fuss in the streets? Do you think they just don't have anything better to do, or do you think it's just like some sort of hobby?
Both answers are correct.
Why do you think it's lower Zephyr that attracts the most complicated ne'er-do-wells rather than, like, really good people? You know, Mr. Hamsky's been making some pretty good efforts to try to make sure that the community parts down here is nice and clean, but then, like, people show up with, like, really big firearms or, like, really big guns and things like that, and then they rob a store, and it's like, well, why would you do that? Why don't you rob somebody a bit more prolific, like the governor?
They want some money and they don't have any.
Why do you suppose currency exists as a fundamental force?
But it's essential. It's been there since day one of history.
That's not true, Parts. We don't have currency back home.
Not everything can run off trade and trade alone. You need a little bit of butter, per
I was
se.
watching a Metagrams post not too long ago, and it said that capitalism is the devil, and that if you value your life and sanctity, you'll burn any kind of place with capitalisms to the ground.
Well, there are a lot of extremists online.
Mm.
Delusional extremists.
I mean, we never really had much of a currency system Parts back home, so, you know, I think we got along Parts just fine.
Well, from everything you've described, your home's not different from here.
Mm. I forget, Mr. Rubicon, do you have a core or not?
No, I don't.
It's very interesting. Someone told me once that there's apparently a divinity of slimes that was lurking about Parts, right? Like they were some big fancy important person, and then one day they died. And I have to wonder, Parts, if they're the person Parts in charge of all slimes, then how could they die? Because there's still so many of us, and gods are built upon worshingships.
Well, everything dies eventually.
I don't know about that part. Some people claim to be alive for a very, very long.
Of course.
Mhm.
But if not intervened with, everything dies eventually.
That's a little scary, Parts, don't you think?
Oh, well, if you realize it sooner rather than later, you can come to peace with it.
I don't necessarily know Parts that I'm necessarily okay Parts with being dyings. I'm gonna be a pudding that's gonna live forever, I think.
Oh, well, we'll see about that.
After all, I have to interview Parts every single slimes in the metaverse. I have 2 of them lined up, but this is probably a good opportunity, Parts. Since we've already hit the 22-minute marks, we should probably reach out to the slimings back home. Let me just the camera Parts. There we go.
Fair.
Slimings back home, if you haven't already, if you know a slime, or if you are a slime back home, and you're on the metagrams or the metaverses or wherever we're posting this or wherever these get posted Parts, and you want to be on SlimeWave, just shoot us a message Parts. We have a form Parts, and it's going to be posted alongside this episode. Every time we post Parts an episode, it's going to have the form Parts in it. So if you want to be on SlimeWave, talk to us. We love to interview Parts, slimes, and slime-adjacent creatures. If you're made of sludge, if you're made of goo, if you're made of pudding, if you're made of flan, if you're made of gooey wooey wobble wobble gelatin, it doesn't really matter to us. All slimes are good slimes, and the only way that you can be a bad slime is if you don't stick together.
True.
Slimes, people tell me that slime parts are weak, but like, I think the real power parts of slimes comes from the fact that you're always kind of sticking together. It doesn't really matter Parts where you come from or what you do or how you do it. What matter Parts is that you're together with somebody that you love and cherish and appreciate Parts. I thought a lot about the systemic cycle of violence ever since the Nine Heavens exploded. For those of you who don't know, I came Parts into this metaverse in order to try to escape the cycle of violence back home because it's caught up in a war between humans and slimes. And so I got here and I was like, well, maybe I can understand humans and then maybe I can take that knowledge back home and end the war between my people and them. But then, like, I made a friend with Miss Cass and Miss Cass exploded. And then suddenly I wanted to participate in the systemic cycle of violence.
Whichever way you end the perpetual cycle, you have to be strong.
Do you think the systemic cycle of violence Parts can end? Do you think it just gets delayed for a while?
With someone strong enough, it will.
What if there's never anyone strong enough? What if the systemic cycle of violence Parts is forever?
At some point in time, maybe not now, maybe in a few years, there will be someone.
I hope it's sometime soon, Parts. You know, wars are really scary and it's a really, really bad thing. But you build weapon parts for war, don't you, Mr. Rubicon?
No, I develop for Opticos Industries. However, as I have a bit of an important position and need to keep myself and my fellow constituents alive 9 times out of 10, I have to meet certain threats, which I do.
So you build parts weapons for wars, but they're just really tiny wars.
Minuscule. You call those battles?
Minuscule part wars. So like really, really tiny wars. I forgot what I was saying, Mr. Rubicon. My mind's been kind of all over the place. We've been trying to get more episodes of SlimeWave out and about recently, but it's been really, really hard because Miss Rory had to go home. Mr. Valentine, I don't know. I think they said that they were they had seasonal afflictive disorder
That's fair.
because they're slimes and they're a
Which
seasonal
time are we
slime.
running off of, by the
We're
way?
actually right here at the tail end of things, Mr. Rubicons. We've got just under the 5-minute mark, so this might be a good time for us to go ahead and start closing things out. You have a lot of things you're working on. Is there anything important that you want to tell the beautiful sliming peoples back home?
Well, I know in general Opticos Industries has some good products on the way soon, so keep your eyes open for that.
This is
I
going to
may
go
have
up on the
taken a little bit of a
Metazgrams.
dabble in it. I may have not. You're just going to have to find out. Newsletters, darling. Read them.
You have a newsletter?
More than likely, yes.
Mr. Rubicon, I have bad news for you.
What's the news?
I don't know how to read.
Are you a scaredy cat?
There should be something that can read it for you, don't worry.
I'm kidding, of course. I learned how to read. But yes, as far as my parts, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. And these SlimeWave episodes aren't really anything substantial, but if you like slimes and you like slime-based contents, we really appreciate your support. You can follow the channel, you can express your appreciation for it, but most importantly, you can send questions and commentations into the box. It doesn't necessarily have to be parts a question. It can just be a comment like, hey, we appreciate the work parts. Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and let the slimings back home go. Miss Aurora says we should integrate more slime puns into the broadcast.
But I see you're at work for that, aren't you?
I'm just putting on an act.
Fair.
But yes, I am gonna go ahead and let you go, parts. Thank you so much for watching or listening to SlimeWave. We'll be back. I promise you, parts. We'll be back as soon as we can. Hopefully, we can get Mr. Rory or Mr. Valentine in on it. And like I said, hopefully next episode we'll have exciting interviews. We just have to find more slimes to recruit out to SlimeWaves. We might not even be recordings from Zephyr next time, Mr. Rubicon. We could be recording from somewhere else entirely.
Well, Zephyr is the most
Once we get big, once we get bigger, we're gonna get parts like a formal studios and all that, and it's gonna be really cool.
Gonna buy those out of Zephyra? I see. Well,
Hey,
good
guys.
luck with that.
Thank you all so much for watching and listening. And we still don't have an outro, Mr. Rubicon. It's been months we've been trying to think of one. We still don't have an outro.
I can't say I've gotten any closer to cracking one either.
Well, what about we thought about what was it, Stay Gooey, right? We thought about Stay Gooey as like a potential outro. But I think
Does sound like a little bit of an innuendo.
what about Goodbye for now?
That works.
Goodbye for now, Slimings. I'll see you on the next episode of SlimeWave. Stay tuned, and we'll be back as soon as possible. Later! Miss Rubicon's, your hands, it's just your hand parts on the broadcasting screens. How do I turn this off?
The off button, maybe?
I can't read, Mr. Rubicon. Can you
Should
turn?
be red.
Could you turn?
letters.
Oh, I found it.